What I want to talk about today is a very great topic actually, and what it involves is the manga King's Game Origin, and what I think is a very great manga. It had a very great. I think it was just a great overall. That's all I can say. It's just great. I can't think of any more words to say, but other than it was just a great. It was a great read overall. Me as a reader, it was a great read for me. 10 out of 10. Now, this is spoilers if you haven't read it. So like this whole video is just spoilers, and there's just some. I don't know how I'm gonna expand some of the sections I'm about to talk about to 13 minutes and 27 seconds, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I think the first topic I want to talk about is how. Let's talk about how insane the MC and Natsuko's relationship is. Who, for one, I don't know how long they were in love. For one, they're cousins. And so every adult in the village already looked down on their relationship. And then one night, when they was after the first order they had did before they all knew what it was, knew what the King's Game was or whatever, he had brought her to her mom's house, and she was like, you can't. The relationship is, bad. Basically, like any adult would, right? She got mad. Natsuko got mad, ran to the back, and locked herself in there. But what she didn't know is that she started the entirety of King's Game. Yeah, she started all of that. In which the first kills were, it was two people. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to new topic. What I want to talk about, new topic. I want to talk about Michiko and how great of a character she is. She was so great throughout the entire time. She made very valid points. She made points that I would be making in situations like that, and putting clues together like that. She figured out who it was. She said the motive and why she think it was, that person. Why it was Natsuko. And she told the MC that, but the MC wasn't listening. And she had also told him that he was blinded by love or whatever. Even though she's in love with him too, but she can't. She's smart. And she's not illogical. She's a very logical person, a very logical thinker. And she knows, and she always kept it cool in whatever situation. She never panicked. She always kept it cool no matter what. And she always made valid points. To even in the beginning when she was like, it could be one of us, she was not lying, and it was Natsuko. And she told Michiko told the MC that the adults and stuff looked down on y'all relationship, and there was nobody left, then there wouldn't be nobody else to judge it, right? She told the MC that, and she was like, no. He was like, no, it can't be true. It can't be true. And so what Michiko did was the smart thing to do, and she went to go kill Natsuko, but she ended up failing, and that led to the end of King's Game, in which I don't know how she survived, even though I don't even know how she was, even though the letters, because how they had it was like Natsuko went missing and the letters stopped coming, and so what Michiko did was manipulate the situation in her favor, which she was right though, but she still manipulated kind of to like have everybody be like Natsuko is the one who was the king, and so she's gone, and so the letter stopped, in which she was right until another letter came, in which I don't understand how that was even possible, because from at this point where we're thinking that Natsuko was missing, right? We don't know where she is. Okay, when we see her again, it was a panel she's crawling out of a cave. I don't know how. I just can't figure out how she was able to put up new orders without nobody seeing her, because you had all the guards. Did the police leave before? I think so. The police had left. The police was still there. The police was still there when she was still putting up the orders. But there was no way she could be putting them up when the next time we saw her, she's climbing out of a cave. And what I think happened was you had all the people that I could sit here and say that, because you know how it ended. Natsuko ended up tricking the MC into killing her, and so he, he was locked. He ended up being, he wasn't locked up. He was put in the hospital, and the hospital they put him in was just doing. It was basically government ran, and so they just did a bunch of tests on him and stuff to make sure that he wasn't. I guess to do tests on his blood, the King's virus and stuff like that. And then they just couldn't figure out, they just couldn't make up a cure or whatever. And so what they did was they let him go. For one, they let him go. They let him live his life. In 32 years in that time, he met a girl, took his walls down, made her fall in love again. And he ended up having 2 daughters. I forgot the first daughter's name, but I remember the second daughter. The second daughter was named Natsuko. Natsuko was not living with them because he accidentally hit her because he caught PTSD every time he said her name. And so that's why she's with her grandparents. Another thing that I really wish Michiko ended up surviving, due to the fact that she was just a great character, and she was just, even if they put her in the light that she was just this crazy girl, just a murderous girl, but she was valid though. She always kept a clear head no matter the situation, no matter what. She always kept a clear head, and she was always logical. She was always logical in whatever move she made, whatever she was talking about, whatever she was arguing about to somebody. She always made the right choice, kind of. She always did. And, it was one scene, when she was walking up them stairs, if you read it, and that's the only time where I was like, I don't know. It's 50-50. It's 50-50 because I understand it, but then again, it's like, I feel like that was just unnecessary for her to do. And the MC is he's one of them protagonists that refuses to see the truth until everything has happened. Now he can't, even if it wasn't her fault that this happened, and everything that happened, she couldn't do nothing about it, right? After throwing that pot on the ground, she couldn't do anything because it took control of her. It took control of her and made her write them notes, write them orders and stuff like that. And it couldn't, it wasn't her fault, and that I understand too. It wasn't her fault that all of this happened. She didn't even want all of this to happen. She just wanted to have a relationship with her cousin. Yeah. Which is, crazy. And Michiko was the only one that told him, like, love is making you blind. She told him that, and he wasn't listening. So she tried to kill him. She did try to kill him, but it wasn't like, she wasn't killing him because she didn't love him or anything. She was killing him because it was the logical thing to do, or because the last order that was given to them was that they all had to kill 2 people each, but there wasn't enough people for everybody, so one of them had to die. And so he ended up, her first kill she killed, and then the second kill he jumped off the bridge and himself. And then she was going to go kill him. She just didn't do it in time, and so she ended up getting her flesh peeled off, which is kind of crazy for my character to be happening like that. I just don't think I just repeat myself. Like, I just wish she was alive. I wish she could have survived, and wish we could have saw her. Only because she was the smartest out of the whole cast. She was. The police couldn't do nothing. She knew that. She told them that. Another thing I would like to talk about is Daki's mom. Daki was one of the Daki had a mom, and the mom Daki ended up being one of the first people that died in the King's Gang when it first started. He was like one of the first people. Another one was another like a middle school girl ended up dying too. And Daki was one of the first victims, and the two people that was involved in it, right? Because nobody knew the King's Gang was real at that time, right? The mom ended up blaming the MC and the MC's best friend, and she ended up trying to kill them both. In which that I understand, and the MC and his best friend understood that too. That even though it wasn't their fault and they didn't think the games was real, the fact still remains that they was still here and her son was gone playing a game that he didn't even know he was a part of, didn't even want to be a part of, didn't even have no say so. And so she tried to get revenge on them, and that I don't blame her. I don't one bit for trying to kill them too, because you got to understand, her husband was gone, right? Her husband was already dead, and then you got her son. Her son was the only thing she had left. And so what happens is you got some moms that, even if their husband is cheating on them or whatever, if they can make their son, have a happy life, then they're willing to they'll detach all the emotional, attachment to their husband, but still have the emotional attachment to their kid, and to make sure that their kid is, safe, happy, and all of that. And so her son, ended up gone, and so she didn't have nothing left but her. And so during that game it was to take a head and place it in front of the board. And she took her son's head out of the bag, put it into another bag, and to carry it around. And she ended up, she didn't put the head down, so she ended up dying. And she's with her son and husband and all of that, which is, that manga was so great. It's so great at making people that, like, you would think that's just insane and crazy, but once you get to understanding them, then it's really just like, you can't blame it. And I don't blame her for trying to do that, because she didn't have nothing else, and now she's in a curse game that was started by some teenagers. No, that was started by a girl that wanted a relationship with her cousin. And that's just insane to me, how that was the reason that everything started. Everybody ended up dying and all of that. Like, that's so crazy. That's such a crazy starting point for how, from the beginning to the end. 10 out of 10 manga. I'm out of here though.